We are proud that people defend their freedoms with such strength, and we really congratulate Adilur Rahman Khan, one of the human rights defenders who faced very severe harassments in his country in recent times. He was in jail for several months, and express our gladness on this occasion where his work has been recognized by the Martin Ennals Award. He's one of the 3 awardees of the this year, and also by Gwangju Prize. He was one of the 2 awardees this year.
Welcome to Human Rights Asia Weekly Roundup. In this week's program, India Election Special, we report on abuses and irregularities from the world's largest democracy. Erwiana visits Hong Kong for medical examination. Like-minded group nations on the offensive against civil society groups. Indigenous miners killed in the Philippines. Bangladesh prisoners serve poisoned food. Welcome to Human Rights Asia Weekly Roundup. I'm Adilur Sulistyaningsih. Over 800 million people are eligible for voting in the general election currently underway in India. This figure includes nearly 100 million first-time voters. Widely touted as the world's largest electoral exercise, this election is being held in 9 phases and will span more than a month. However, there are notable voter list anomalies which, coupled with human error and judicial delay, deprive thousands of citizens of their right to vote. In Assam, 143,000 people are listed as doubtful voters. Doubtful voters are those persons whose citizenship credentials are yet to be confirmed by the foreigners' tribunals. It takes more than a decade to get a final verdict through the tribunal, and during the pendency of the case, all political rights remain suspended. On paper, Assam has 36 foreigners' tribunals to detect foreigners in the state established under the Foreigners Tribunal Act 1946, but only 19 are functional. Thousands of cases are pending in these tribunals, and according to media reports, about 11,000 of these cases are around 19 years old. The tribunals can adjudicate only 3,000 cases per year. At this pace, it will take decades to clear all the cases. Most doubtful voters will die before they hear a final verdict. The AHRC has learned of the case of Miss Elisa Khatun, wife of Mr. Usman Ali, a permanent resident of Beragon village, Parpita district in Assam. Elisa cast her vote for the first time after her marriage. In 1997, she was declared a doubtful voter by the government, which suspected her to be a foreigner, and she was barred from voting in elections. After a 15-year battle and after having had to pay bribes to various officials in the Foreigners Tribunal and the Election Commission, Elisa's status was resolved in 2012. She was cleared of all charges that questioned her citizenship. Her trial was concluded after just 2 hearings in the tribunal, something that took the government 15 years and bribery to complete. Yet her ordeal is not over yet. Till date, Elisa's name has not been reintroduced to the electoral list. Elisa will therefore not be able to cast her vote in the current general elections.
আহার পরে বিয়া করে আনার পরে ভোটার লিস্টে নাম টাম দেওয়া হইলো নাম টাম ঠিকই আছে এলেসা খাতুন একবার ভোট দিল আমার লগেই একসাথে একবার আমার লগে ভোট দিল ভোট দেওয়ার পরে ফিরে 15 বার মানে নামের এগেইনস্টে দিয়ে আইছে সরকারের দুর্নীতি বা সরকারের যেগনি অফিসার আছে অফিসারকে গেফলাতি একদম চরমভাবে গেফলাতি করতেছে সব জায়গায় এরকম হইতাছে বড় ডিস্ট্রিক্ট উড়াগে গেফলাতি.
Earlier, AHRC spoke to Mr. Mudasir Rizwan, a young voter from Patna, Bihar, regarding voter list anomalies concerning him and his family members.
मसला ये है कि जब इसके लिए अप्लाई किया गया था तो वहाँ पे तो ठीक से लिखवाना पड़ता है नाम, ठीक है पहली बात. तो उसके बावजूद भी वो लोग उल्टा सीधा नाम लिख देते हैं. इंग्लिश में तो एकदम खराब कर देते हैं और हिंदी में थोड़ा बहुत सही भी लिखा. एक मुझे 2 कार्ड मिल गया. मैंने मम्मी का भी अप्लाई किया हुआ था लेकिन उनका नहीं मिला है, बट मेरा 2 कार्ड आ गया जिसमें एक में फोटो दिया हुआ है सही है मेरा, इंग्लिश में नाम मेरा भी गलत है, मेरे पापा का भी गलत लिखा है. और हिंदी में नाम मेरा सही दिया हुआ है, मुदस्सिर रिजवान एंड रिजवानुल हुदा मेरे पापा का, ठीक है। और दूसरा कार्ड, एक और सेम कार्ड मेरे ही नाम से, उसमें फोटो गलत दे दिया है, किसी बुड्ढे का डाल दिया है और नाम में भी पूरा गलत किया हुआ है, बट डेट ऑफ बर्थ जो है वो सही दिया हुआ है। ये होता है। और मेरी बहन के साथ भी यही प्रॉब्लम हुआ, उसका भी नाम में गड़बड़ हुआ है, ठीक है, नाम में भी गड़बड़ है और किसी लड़के का फोटो लगा दिया है उसमें। ये हो रहा है, ये हमेशा से प्रॉब्लम होता रहता है। यहाँ पे वोट देने का टाइम आता है तो वो प्रॉब्लम होती है, भाई ये आपका नेम मैच कर, इसके बदले कुछ और लेके आइए, कुछ और करवाइए, कुछ और डिटेल दीजिए, तब जाके वोट देने में ये प्रॉब्लम होती है।
Caste can also affect your access to your voting right. Video volunteers report from Rajasthan.
जब चुनावों के टाइम पे मैं गाँवों में गई, मैंने 3-4 गाँवों में जाके देखा कि दलित वर्ग से बात की कि उन्होंने बताया कि हम लोगों को वोट नहीं डालने दिया जाता है।
हम इनसे लड़ने लायक थे नहीं, लड़ने के लायक नहीं थे उनके, हम छोटे वर्ग के तो हैं ही, इस कारण नहीं गए हम।
यदि आप वोट डालते तो आपको क्या मिलता?
हमको लाठियाँ मिलती और क्या मिलता, पिटाई होती हमारी, और वहाँ क्या मिलता, फूल नहीं बरसते।
हमने कलेक्टर को
बहुत फोन करे,
सबके हमारे पास फोन है, लेकिन हमारे पास कोई पुलिस प्रशासन नहीं
आया।
हमारे देश को 65 साल हो गए आज़ाद हुए, लेकिन आज भी हमारे करौली जिले में दलित परिवार मतदान देने से वंचित हैं।
मेरे साथ में ऐसा हुआ था कि मोटरसाइकिल से जा रहा था मैं, तो ये लोगों ने ऐसे 30-40 लोग है, चैनपुर के ये मीना थे, और उनने मेरे को क्या हुआ कि गाड़ी पटकवाई है मोटरसाइकिल, और मोटरसाइकिल पटकवा के मेरी मारा पीटी करी है और मेरे मारने की बिल्कुल उनने पूरी कोशिश करी है बिल्कुल कि इसको ख़त्म कर दो। ऐसा किया था कि वोट हमन को वहाँ में दब्बा लाखन के लिए राजपा में वोट दब्बा, इसलिए नहीं तो मारेंगे। वोट नहीं डालन दिया मेरे को, मैं तो वोट डालने जा रहा था।
आपने वोट डाला अपना?
वोट डाल भी गए जब वही तो ये झगड़ा किया मैंने।
आप कौन सी जाति से हो?
हम जाटा में।
और जिन्होंने वोट नहीं डाले थे वो?
ये मीना है।
With us in the studio now, we have Anjuman Arabagum from Assam, who has personal experiences with voting irregularities. Welcome, Anjuman. Can you please tell us more about the issue of doubtful voters in Assam?
In 1997, the voter list in Assam was revised by the Election Commission. And during that time, lots of persons, more than 250,000 voters marked as doubtful voters, and mostly from the Bengali-speaking, both Hindus and Muslim communities, and also women who got married and who shifted to another village after their marriage. These cases were brought before the Foreigners Tribunal just to prove their citizenship credentials. In Assam, currently there is 36 Foreigners Tribunal, but out of that only 19 are functional, and others don't have judges, so they cannot function. And there is a huge delay in adjudicating the cases. So right now there are 11,000 cases which are nearly 20 years old. So people who were had problem as doubtful voters in 1997 till date, they have not been cleared of anything, so all their political rights are suspended.
India at the moment has more than 800 million voters. So in your opinion, how is this anomaly in voter lists or voters' identity affecting the people?
Voter identity is a very important document. It also is a proof for a citizenship, and it is used, and it can be used for various purposes. And what happens is lots of anomalies are there. If you go in a voting booth, every booth has some problem. There are proxy votings. One of my friend, she went for voting. She found that someone else already has voted in her name, and it happened twice, and she cannot vote this time. And also the issues of voter ID card with the wrong photograph, with wrong personal details. Name is the same, but father's name is different. So these things are very common, and many people are suffering because of that, because they cannot prove their identity or they cannot ascertain their citizenship. I'll show you my personal case. I have about these 3 voter ID card with me now. I have 2 more at home. So this voter card, first time it was issued to me in the year 1994. And then there was spelling mistake. I applied for the correction, and then I got another one in 2000. It's a duplicate. I was supposed to get with the correct spelling, but this is also as wrong spelling. And then again 2007, I was issued another voter ID card. Still the mistake continues, and two more I have at home. This also has the same kind of mistake. So when I use it, when I need to prove my citizenship or to apply for, say, a passport or any other government schemes, I cannot use this as my proof because my name is something else.
Abused Indonesian domestic worker Erwiana Sulistyaningsih visited Hong Kong from April 7 to 14 to attend a series of medical examinations. The results of the examinations will be used to support her case against her former employer, Lau Wan Tung, who allegedly abused and tortured Erwiana during her 8-month stay in Hong Kong. Erwiana spent several weeks in critical condition in a hospital in Java after her employer sent her back to Indonesia when she was too injured to continue to work. Upon her arrival in Hong Kong, Erwiana was taken against her will to the Indonesian consulate, triggering the anger of the civil society groups in Hong Kong. It was reported that Erwiana and her team were threatened with deportation if she refused to stay at the Indonesian consulate. Following pressure from the civil society groups, Erwiana was later allowed to leave the Indonesian consulate and stayed in a safety house provided by the Mission for Migrant Workers. Despite her busy schedule, Erwiana and her team took the time to meet with the Indonesian domestic workers in Hong Kong who expressed their solidarity. Erwiana herself, however, was not able to share what has happened to her as the legal case is currently ongoing. Within Asia, India is considered to be less repressive against the civil society. India tends to speak eloquently in international forums, often encouraging member states at the UN and other international bodies to do their best to protect and promote human rights. However, during the 25th session of the UN Human Rights Council, India led a group of 21 countries in what was termed as a like-minded group, or LMG, and spoke in a panel discussion organized by the High Commissioner for Human Rights on the subject, Importance on the Protection and Promotion of Civil Society Space. Speaking on behalf of some of the worst candidates in this regard, including Sudan, Algeria, China, Egypt, Pakistan, Russia, Vietnam, and Uganda, India said that civil society organizations must be approached with suspicion and caution. According to the LMG, civil society organizations are en bloc corrupt and are often engaged in activities to overthrow legitimate governments. While such comments are often heard from most of the states in the LMG, as their official position in international forums, India leading them during the 25th Human Rights Council session strongly suggests an alarming shift in India's policies on civil society work internally and internationally. After being missing for several days, 3 people were found buried in a shallow grave near their hut in Abra province on Luzon in northern Philippines. The 3 victims were last seen by their family on March 2nd. On March 7, the bodies of Freddy Fermin Legiu, Eddie Legiu, and Lisuben Legiu, all from the same family, were found piled one on top of the other in the grave. The hands of Eddie and Fermin were bound by thick nylon ropes, and there were rope marks around the neck of Lisuben. There were many indications on their bodies that they had been severely beaten. The victims all belonged to the Binongan tribe and were members of an indigenous people organization. The alleged perpetrators belonged to the 41st Infantry Battalion. Fermin had been forced to serve as guide in a military operation by the 41st Infantry Battalion and was planning to talk with human rights groups about his experiences when he disappeared with his father and brother. The continuing presence of the military has heightened threats and harassment in the community. At least 35 prisoners of Bagarhat District Jail in Bangladesh have fallen sick. Among them, at least 20 prisoners whose condition deteriorated were admitted to the district's hospital on April 15. Others were receiving treatment inside the prison. Most of these detainees are waiting for trial in the prison. The doctors at the Bagherhat Sadar Hospital told the local media that food poisoning appears to be the main reason for the prisoners to fall sick. The prisoners who were admitted at the hospital stated that they were served special food on the occasion of the Bangla New Year Day on April 14. Relatives of the individual detainees have to bear the cost for the medical treatment provided at the public hospital. The video footage shows the condition of the hospital where the detainees were given treatment. It exposes the quality of healthcare offered to the citizens by the authorities of Bangladesh. Jail authorities have denied allegations of food poisoning. Jail Superintendent of Bagherhat District Jail, Muhammad Amanullah, claims that the detainees were sick due to saline water, which comes to the prison as the normal supply of water. 529 inmates are reportedly accommodated in the Bagherhat District Jail, despite an official capacity of 400. Bangladesh prisons are mostly overcrowded due to the practice of arbitrary detention and fabrication of cases against persons. The basic facilities provided to prisoners in Bangladesh are severely substandard in terms of their rights enshrined in the Universal Human Rights Law. That is all for this week's Human Rights Asia Weekly Roundup. For more information, log on to www.humanrights.asia. Thank you for watching and see you again next week.